I think that you should. I think that you should bring these in like one of those metal Samsonite briefcases with a handcuff. Yeah, handcuff it to yourself.
I have handcuffs right here too. I should.
You have handcuffs in your pocket?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing with handcuffs?
What if he has to make a citizen's arrest?
What was that?
That was my knife.
Did you just have a desk pop?
Yep. Yeah, no. They're going to see that before this, but that's for...
Oh, got it. Are these yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a few pairs of these. I used to carry a handcuff key with me every day.
Yeah.
And every time, well, not every time, but every time I've been in handcuffs in the last 30 years, I have had a handcuff key with me every time.
Yeah, like...
They never look for it.
Well, I was going to say, I'm sure you were cool when you were in handcuffs, and that goes a long way, too. Like, they're not going to care if you're not going to be an asshole.
I don't know. They came in like I was America's Most Wanted.
So, I wanted those. I don't even know what they're called, and I can't find them anymore, but somebody made handcuff keys that clip to your belt, and you couldn't tell what they were. They just looked like something on your belt, and I wanted some of those. But lately, I've been carrying just a regular key, because I dug those out, and I grabbed the key.
You can get 3D printed cuff keys and plastic cuff keys and shit, and they don't pick up on a wand.
That's interesting, too. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, so you split. If you look where your belt loops are, that top hem of the pants is always doubled up.
Yeah.
You can just put a slice right there and put a handcuff key in there.
Yeah, and that would be like right where your hands would be, too. So
yeah, and you could put one in the front and the back so you can access it.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people will tape them also, like right above their ass crack.
Yeah, but that's conspicuous. Like, if somebody saw that, they would know exactly what was
Yeah, it's more like anti-abduction stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Mexico and shit like that. If you watch Ed's Manifesto.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Does a ton of that stuff. Kinky Collective, there's a few of them.
Yeah, Ed, you got to understand that Ed lived that life, so he's always thinking about that kind of stuff. But the stuff that he says is valuable, like, carry an orange tourniquet because it doesn't look tactical and you'll be able to take it in anywhere you want. Shit like that, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, people pay him
yeah.
to show up and do anti-abduction stuff. He does a lot of stuff with different agencies and shit. Mm-hmm. Like, we know some people that have had training with that dude that are, and you're surprised that, you know, where they commingle.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, what episode is this?
14. No.
Question and answer 50. We've done 15 of these?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I've done probably 5 of them.
No, probably more than that. Next week will be the 40th Panic Prepper, too.
Wow.
Yeah. Time flew this year for all that stuff.
Might have to do a new intro.
Yeah, we should.
Time for a new intro.
That's kind of the thing that, like, it's so good that people like it, but it's old to me. You know, I want to do
something.
Take
Black Scout Survival, where he does, like, the Eskrima sticks and shit, and it sounds like Transformers, you know?
Yeah.
And just put my face on that, so it looks like I'm doing that.
I could do that probably.
That'd be good.
Okay.
Jack won't care either.
Cool.
We'll get Jack. We'll eventually get Jack on Panic Prepper.
Yeah, I want all that. Anybody that wants to do it that like, I'm not putting this out to them, but
I think American Gun Chick is going to be here again very shortly too.
Yeah, I haven't talked to her about it yet, but I know that that's on the schedule, and I'm going to try to get her to stop by.
You should get a fucking ridiculously bigger cigar. Like something way fucking bigger.
Yeah, I will.
Okay, so Andrea, that's kind of boring. She likes it when I fuck her name up, probably.
I'm sure
she probably wishes I didn't know the correct name. Andrea Snow, in regards to last week's question, my husband and I have a small farm with assorted animals. Beef and dairy cows. Fuck, like, we don't have that. Pigs, geese, chickens, both meat and egg layers, rabbits and goats. We primarily raise and sell beef, eggs, and pork. We are branching out to incubating eggs, American breast chicken, and selling hens, roosters, along with piglets and the rabbits. Everything beef-wise is sold until we go to the butcher again, and we are in a waiting period. Rabbits need to kit. Chickens and rabbits need to grow. Do I just focus on the marketing, Facebook website, farm story to build a client list in our area? We are also wanting to set up classes in our area for butchering and building. Yeah, I mean, marketing, right? That absolutely, build up a list. It's always going to be nice to have more customers than you have product. And you can always scale the product and bring on a couple more customers or, one-time customers even. at that point, could you add anything in there that would make it, like a CSA box, where they come every 6 weeks or every 4 weeks or whatever they buy in at, and then telling the story, right? You should probably, especially once you have eyeballs, especially 1,000 eyeballs, you should be doing this right here. You should have a payment wall and start them at $1 and see who gets in there, because it paying the $1 and paying $5, it's the same amount of work, right? It's the same amount of clicks. So start them with a payment wall, and then give them value, and then scale the value and give them enough value that when the price goes from $1 to $5, they can't afford not to do it, right? They have access, they know you, you're going to answer questions, and you can decide how much access that is and what that looks like. And then I would also say, why just breast chickens, right? I've got barred rocks, probably 20 of them. I've got, what are those big white Brahmas? I have Brahmas, probably 20 of those. And those are the two that I really bought to keep sequestered and, put a run up and keep them separate, so that when I do pull fertile eggs, we know that what's going to hatch out of those things. So if we sell fertile eggs, we're guaranteed that's what we're getting, or the guy that hatches them, and he's not surprised that he's all of a sudden got a turkey neck chicken. And then you can also sell the eggs or the hatched birds. We see people doing that locally here. Something I would add to that, and something I think we're going to do, is put a firewood stand at the end of the driveway. And in the firewood stand, you have bundles. It's 5 pieces of wood, 6 pieces of wood, whatever. And you make that stand nice, right? So that people constantly drive by it, see it, and it's just in their head. And when they need some firewood, or they're going camping, or we have a big hunting population here. A lot of people come into town to hunt. And then it's kind of like a good old boys thing too during the duck hunting. They might not even shoot a damn duck, but some of those duck blinds are like clubhouses out there. They're out there cooking sausages and pancakes and just hanging out. So they'll buy wood on the way there. But you can do an egg stand also. You'll see a lot of that on YouTube, probably, especially just because I just said it and your phone heard it. When you go onto YouTube, you'll see that happen. But those are all just recurring money. All you have to do is keep them out there. And especially like through the winter, if it's not freezing, it's not going to crack the eggs. And if it's not warm, the eggs are going to stay even longer. They're pretty well refrigerated. And people just come up and take a 12-pack of eggs and leave, $4, or they take a bundle of wood and leave $10, whatever that price is. But then they can also, that's kind of in itself is advertising for you at the road front. They can come out there. You could have other little signs, have catchy little shit out there, have some Amish chairs, that you sell, some of the Amish swings, or those little butterflies that their wings flap in the wind, or the fucking glass bottle things. There's all kinds of ways to upsell, but it also just draws the eyes. It's going to stick in their head because you're doing something somebody else isn't doing out there.
I don't know where she lives, but if she's in an area where they're complaining about people moving in, like every good area, I know this because I'm one of them that moved in. It's a novelty to get like farm fresh eggs and shit. So I don't know. I don't do the grocery shopping. So what's a carton of eggs is like $4. You could charge $7 because they're farm fresh, and all those people that just moved here are gonna buy them. Perception
of value too.
Yeah.
Do you want to and do you want to do business with poor people, or do you want to do business with rich people? Mm-hmm. Because the snooty, chick in the Escalade, she's going to automatically want to buy the more expensive thing.
Yep.
And you can have, they have some stamps, and you can stamp your eggs with your logo on them. It's fucking pretty cool. They're actually cupped, they're round, so they stamp the egg with them. And you can get all your packaging too. You can get your egg crates and recyclable. This is good for the earth, right? Mm-hmm. It's hippie and green, and it has your logo on it. You can tell your story even. You can have a little, business card in there, or a card that tells something about you, and also your other, things that you do. Some other things you can sell them.
And that private label shit where you get your own logo on the cartons and stuff, it's not as expensive as
it is not expensive at all.
Yeah.
And you would be amazed if you just have a stamp made and you can just stamp it on a stamp pad. You can put your logo on anything. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, it sounds like we're slowed down right now. I've just bred all the rabbits. We should have a ton of rabbits hatching. We should have a ton of rabbits, in the next 3 weeks here, 2 to 3 weeks. But the chickens, we're not going to hatch out any babies right now. So what we have. So we have eggs still. But all of our grass is dead. All the vegetation has gone dormant. So we're really just kind of physical labor right now. But firewood is a good one if it's something you want to mess with. And if you have people moving in your area, you have people cutting down trees. And the only trees that they're interested in is that tall main trunk. And all those trees have limbs on the side. And you can take any piece of wood, 3-4 inches, and use it as firewood. And if it's over that, you can split it. And they make a thing. It's like $300, and it's this cradle, and you put your wood in there. And then you have a kind of like cling wrap on it, and you just turn the handle, and it wraps it a couple times in this plastic, and you just tack on a rope handle to these things. They sell all that. Like it's if you watch like Outdoor with the Morgans is a good channel to see some of that. And once you watch that channel, you'll see tons of other people popping up that are just doing firewood businesses, little hobby businesses. But you can usually get most of that wood for free. Like you just go pick it up where they've cut it. You just take a chainsaw, take the pieces you want, and then anytime you have mechanical advantage, a force multiplier is a tractor. So if you have a skid steer, excavator, anything like that, it's all about not touching it. The equipment touches it. We pick the limbs up with the tractor or the excavator. You saw it into the pieces you want. Our log processor, our firewood splitter, when it pushes, it cuts it into 4 pieces of wood. We have a 4-way wedge on it, hydraulically elevates, and then I've got a lift gate that'll pick up it'll pick up a piece of wood bigger than can even fit on the gate. I mean, it's enormous, the power of these things.
Is the lift gate hydraulic also?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, you can lift anything.
We had a round piece of wood. Dude, it had to be 30 inches.
Giant.
Matt and I couldn't even hardly move it. We would move it and then put the 4-wheeler there kind of to hold it.
Yeah.
And we got it on there, and he was on top, and he reached across and hit the thing, and the gate lifted up, and it threw Matt across the machine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's crazy stuff out there. Billy Magnum, how do you decide how much of the land to dedicate to each process so that it is regenerative for the livestock and their food source? So how much land do you have? We have 10 acres. We probably have 6, 7 that actually can kind of grow grass. We really have probably 3 growing grass because the rest of it's in shade and stuff. And what are you putting on there, right? If you're regenerative, if you're putting chickens on there, you can put your chickens really dense and move them every day and not really worry about it. Sheep, you gotta move them more frequently, and the grass isn't going to grow as fast, especially right now. Cows, you gotta have even more land. I don't really have that stuff, so I guess the real answer is I'm probably not the dude to ask that because I'm not actually doing that. Now, we put the sheep, we brought 4 sheep in and we put them in a tractor. The tractor is 10 by 20. The sheep have been out of the tractor for
their whole life.
6-8 weeks. So they're just kind of going wherever they want. Now, if you look out front, there is nothing above 6 inches tall. They've gone back and even eaten the shit that they left that they didn't want. So we need to move them into the back. I have fescue growing, and I heard Greg Judy say, that nasty toxic fescue. So I'm not sure that what I have back there they should eat. And then I heard Billy Bond say that clover gives them bloat, and I've got a ton of clover growing back there. So maybe we shouldn't put the sheep back in the back at all, but there is shit still growing green back there. Every year when we're driving past these farmers around here, they have these lush green fields. Even when everything is dead, there's these beautiful hundreds of acres of green grass. So there is some winter grass, winter rye or winter wheat or whatever it is. And I do need to have somebody probably come out once we have the property done and properly graded like we're going to do. we should probably have somebody come out with a seed drill, which is a tractor that actually drills the seeds in place so animals don't come along and eat them, and it's at the proper depth, and that shit will grow, right? So we need a winter grass and a summer grass, so as one dies out, the other one, comes back to life. And we have not done that. That's not happened. And I could be completely wrong about that. Greg Judy would tell you just get, field grasses and hay, big round bales, roll them out, and they will just take hold, and the stuff, once the sheep eat it, the proper kinds of grass that you want will come back out of that. So, but I don't know, Billy, the real answer to that for you. Again, Billy Magnum, what has been the biggest hurdle to overcome setting up the preps at the compound, logistic knowledge base? What do you think?
I would say it's logistics. I mean, really, it's like...
I just got that all over me.
John has a hole in his lip. I feel like it's more space. Where are you going to put things? Where are you going to store things? Where are you going to raise the animals? Where are you going to put the water storage? That kind of thing.
And a lot of times you don't know.
Right.
Because when you start, it evolves, right?
You
it
have
changes.
this idea in your mind, this is what you're going to do, and 5 steps in, you're like, well, fuck, that's not going to work. I'm going to have to figure something else out. And so you're on this path, and then you have to, deviate and do something different because it didn't work.
The further away things are, the less you're going to take care of them. Now, chickens, I would like to have the chickens as far away from the kitchen door as possible. You can't see that, though. Right. So if I put them there, I'm never going to go there. Like I don't have to ride a 4-wheeler there, but I ride a 4-wheeler everywhere just because it's fucking cool. Why wouldn't you ride it?
Faster.
And it's just time. And I can literally put 600 pounds of feed on that thing and just take it and drop it where I need it at. So chickens are out front, so you don't smell them, even if we don't rotate them as much as we need to one day. Garden is right outside the kitchen door, and I still don't take care of that as much as I should. But logistics wise, it's just volumes of stuff. Mm-hmm. And do you want all your rice in one room? This is the rice room, right? Well, what if something happened in that room? What if that room flooded? So you really want to you want to break all your shit up so it's in multiple locations. Like even this building we're sitting in right now, I literally brought this building in here to put rice in. I mean, other stuff also, but mostly rice, 5-gallon buckets of rice. And there is rice in here and all kinds of other stuff, but just having it in multiple locations. But really, we're really good at buying things, but I'm not good at the follow through, right? The aftercare. There's probably 1,000 pounds of rice sitting in there where Austin sits every day, literally 4 feet behind him. And I just haven't put it in buckets. I do have hundreds of buckets of rice. We just haven't put that rice in buckets. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what do you want to do this week? I asked her that last night. I don't even know what day it is. What's today, Thursday?
Today's Thursday.
Last night, I'm like, what do you want to do this weekend? She's like, I don't know. What do you want to do? The real answer is I need to go up there, and that tree we cut down, I need to, cut it up into 13-inch pieces, and I need to take the skid steer up there and pick it all and put it in the bucket and bring it down here and chop it up and then fill up some IBC totes and stack some IBC totes of wood up and just kind of do some stuff getting ready for winter. Are we going to do that? Fuck no, we're not going to do that. We're going to go to Nashville and go do something cool and fun. And next weekend I'll do the same thing. What do you want to do?
Yeah, but the difference is you don't actually need to have that done because you've got firewood. You've got everything that you need
Correct.
In case something happens.
Correct.
That's just for the future. It needs to be done for the future.
Right. And we always get dudes that are like, I want to come work for you. I've got a dude sent me an email that sounded awesome. If that's you, send it again because I don't know who you are and I can't find the email. And he was like, I worked on military bases in Kentucky and East Tennessee, and I want to come work. I'll work outside, I'll work inside. But I get dudes all the time. Like Ethan can totally go out there and do all that shit. but he's too fucking valuable doing real shit every day. So when I get a dude that's a good performer, it's an extension to me, right? So I can't like, but then you get the mediocre dude out there, and you can't give his dumb ass an axe or a chainsaw because he's going to do something stupid with it, you know?
I was just thinking about there are people like Ethan where he'll come and say, I want to pull weeds, and then he'll prove himself to you, and then he'll be too valuable to pull weeds.
Yeah, and let's be clear, Ethan will pull weeds. Yeah. Ethan never said, I want to pull weeds.
Well, what I'm saying is, the guy who you want to pull your weeds is also the guy that's not going to show up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he's not valuable more than pulling weeds, and he'll never even prove
Plus, that dude, you got to lock all your cars.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, hey, there's some dudes out there, and we don't know who he is, so lock all your shit up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a love-hate relationship, man. Yep. Nick Boulay, is that
I
Boulay?
think it's Boulay.
That's our Nick. That's the Nick Boulay. What is Amanda's favorite part of the homestead side of the SOE operation, and why?
That garden that we didn't do anything with this year?
The truth is, Amanda doesn't homestead. You really don't homestead. Like, you home make. You really don't do fucking anything outside.
Well, that's because I do everything inside.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You don't homestead.
Whatever.
I
do all the food preservation.
She does. She cans and runs the freeze dryer. She cooks lunch twice a week. Cooks breakfast 5 days a week for everybody. And she will come outside. I'm like, hey, if I need your help, or hey, we're gonna do this thing. We're gonna be outside also. She absolutely will do that. But she doesn't have to do that. She doesn't need to.
And every hour that I'm outside is 2 hours I'm gonna have to make up inside.
Yeah.
So, it's not that I don't want to go out.
What's your favorite part of SOE operation?
What do you mean?
Within the business, what's your favorite part of working?
Like, if I had my way of what I would do?
Sure.
I would cut material.
Really?
Absolutely. 100%.
I'm sure either one of them dudes would switch with you in a heartbeat.
No.
So, my grandfather was an upholsterer, and he had those scissors. Back in the day, they were...
those are
metal.
big. Yeah. They still are.
Well, I don't know if you saw, I posted a video of you cutting material, and I don't know if anybody can relate to it like I can, because I used to sit and watch my grandfather do that, and those sounds and the way the scissors cut. There's something calming about using those scissors on thick-ass material like that, just sliding it. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. And I can completely see that. Like, it probably hurts after a while, but just being there doing it is very calming.
So, I can definitely play it up for the camera, right? Mm. When we have a camera there, I can have a big piece of material, and as I make a cut, I'll just cut an inch or two, and then I can pull it so that when I'm cutting it, it really, really amplifies the sound.
Yeah.
But no, it's not bad. It's way worse for the guys. I mean, I don't stand there and cut for hours anymore.
Yeah.
But I think what a lot of people don't realize is we were the only people for decades, right? I was the guy that cut everything. Like, I have done everything, no matter how long you've worked here right now.
Well, yeah.
I have done what you've done 100-fold over. You'll never touch what I've done. And I don't point that out to them. I don't hear them complaining about it either. But the biggest thing is, I'll tell these kids, I'm like, look, you're not going to understand this right now. And I say kids, I mean, I'm talking to people that are 20, 30 years old. It's jacking your arm, right? I want to stand perpendicular to the table and cut this way. That'll fuck you up. It's just compounded constantly on the wrist. Just turn your body. If you're cutting this way, face that way. And I tell them all the time, I'm like, and they don't listen. And I'm like, look, I am telling you, you are going to feel this shit 5 years from now. You're going to wish you had just simply turned your body. They don't fucking listen.
I mean, it's one of those things that you have to learn. I'm getting close to 40, and I'm finally starting to feel things that I shouldn't have done, and I shouldn't have done them, but I didn't learn until it started to feel like it.
Right. So what'd your day look like today? How'd your day start?
I started at 5:30, got up, printed orders, drank a bunch of coffee, got my embroidery machines running.
What's a bunch of coffee?
I have a 20-ounce cup that I put 3 coffee pods into.
3 K-cups?
Yeah.
Talk into your microphone.
Sorry.
So, then what?
Then I got dressed and came downstairs and made breakfast. Run my embroidery machine some more. Uploaded some more pictures for my email. Did my emails.
So you're working on the email already?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
for
yeah.
Today. We put an email out Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And the reason we do that is I noticed Katanica puts an email out Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And what I noticed was I would always open Katanica's email. Always. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy these tonight, right? They have some new short out or whatever, shorts. And then Saturday, I would get an email. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy I'd open an email again. And I'd even have the card already on another open on the browser tab. So I'll have their website open like 2-3 times. I'm like, I'm going to get them when I get in bed tonight. And then I just don't. But by Sunday, I always, on the third day, I order the shorts. And I'm like, hey, there's obviously something to this because this is how it's working on me. We should do this. And that's when we started putting the email out 3 days in a row. And we put it out Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But when we do push it Sunday, we see a spike in sales that never comes if we don't put it out on Sunday. And when you don't put it out on Sunday, you never make that day back up. It never comes back. And some of those customers, they'll spend that money next week or whatever, or they'll save it up. But mostly it's lost. It's lost revenue that will never come back.
Unfortunately, well, not necessarily unfortunately, but a lot of the things that we have on our email, they're gone by Saturday. They're usually gone Thursday night. So I just push the same email and be like, I'm sorry you kind of missed out, but, you know.
Oh, I love telling them that.
Here's a picture of what you don't get to have.
Exactly. I think I've said this before, but I live about 90 minutes away from here, and the text goes out when I'm about, the text, not the email, goes out when I'm about halfway home, or at least that's when I receive it. Most of the time, by the time I get home, I could go look at that stuff, and it's sold out.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if it's like the premier stuff, right?
Exactly.
If we haven't run it in arid, or we hadn't made it in woodland before, or we hadn't run it in a long time. Like, we hadn't ran roll-up dump pouches, I don't think, since we've probably been in this building.
And I gotta say, like, that was one of those things that slipped by me, because that's not, I don't use shotguns, I don't need to, I mean, I will, but not right now. I don't need to have a bunch of empty mags with me, that kind of stuff for ARs. But all these guys posting stuff like the chain on the tractor and all these different things, that's a really useful piece of kit.
So, you know, where I could, and right, so we can weave a story. I can show you the Hollywood, and then I can show you an application that'll resonate with you, right? And you're going to buy it because the Hollywood's cool. But like for you, because it can just stay rolled up on your belt, you won't even know that thing's there. But especially if we're, filming outside or something, you can have 3 extra GoPros in there. You can have 20 batteries in there. Yeah, all our shit. You can have everything in there.
And that's one of those things where people don't think that they don't realize something because they don't realize it. But once you show them, it's like, oh shit, I never thought about that. That's a perfect use for that.
Yeah. So when are you going to work out? When do you work out every day?
It really just depends. I'm slowly working back into it.
What does that look like?
Couple sets of shoulders, maybe some squats. I'm stretching a lot right now.
What does that look like?
Sitting on the floor and stretching.
That's stretching.
Like my legs and.
So Jeremy Horton was here yesterday.
Yeah.
And he's using a mobility app.
Uh-huh.
I think it's called Mobility. I don't know. It's a few bucks a month or whatever. But because he just does CrossFit. Like Jeremy, if you've never seen Jeremy or you don't know Jeremy is in incredible shape right now. Yeah. And he just does CrossFit stuff. But a lot of the CrossFit, he's like, can you do overhead squats? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, well, put your hands up and squat down. And I lean forward. He goes, yeah, you don't have the mobility for it. He goes, I don't either. He goes, they say you're supposed to be able to stand in a doorway against a door and have your hands up and then squat down. And I go, yeah, maybe if I open the door, I could do that. But he has this app, and in the app, you just like pick the things you're going to work today.
Right.
He's like, okay, I'm going to do some biceps, and I'm going to do some shoulders, and it gives you these options of warming up and stretching and stuff. And then you can delete things that he's like, I don't want a foam roll, so I can just cross. And the app, it's an awesome app.
That sounds awesome. I'll have to look
for
into
mobility.
that.
And that's what I said. I go, yeah, when I go to the gym, my workout is really 45 minutes, right? 30 to 45 minutes if I don't fuck around.
Right.
But my warm-up is also 30 minutes. My floor work and bird dogs and hip thrusts. And
which you need.
Absolutely. Body weight squats, lunges, and that's getting ready to work out to prevent injury.
Right.
So you have a pre-workout, and then you have the workout.
I saw some guy that I follow on Instagram said the best anti-aging thing there is to stay flexible. So being able to bend over and touch your toes and being mobile and that kind of thing, he said those are the things that are going to keep your body young.
So I've never been able to touch my toes.
Only because you don't stretch enough.
Even when I made a real effort to, for 6 months or so, I've never been able to touch my toes. Never.
Interesting.
Never have.
You need to take some ballet.
Trying to tear us down, but me and my team, the last of a day.